Okay, it says we're live and that we're streaming.
I love it.
Marilyn, it does say that you're muted, I think. Can you just check your and make sure that your mute doesn't have a little line through it?
No, it does not.
Perfect. Okay, well then we're ready to start. Okay, everyone. Welcome to She's Reading Tonight. I'm Kelly Coates Gilbert and I'm broadcasting live from Dallas, Texas. And tonight I have a really fun author guest. She's one of my favorites. I met Marilyn Rothstein when we were at a Blue Sky book chat together. And then I had the pleasure, she came to Dallas for a big book event of some sort, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so I drove up to where she was staying at her hotel in downtown Dallas just for lunch. We looked up and it was stinking 4 hours later and her husband was in the lobby with his suitcases going, Marilyn. So that's who Marilyn is. She is such a fun girl to chat with. And I'm so delighted you're here. Welcome, Marilyn.
Thank you so much. And I just cannot believe it's been so long since I saw you because I see your face and it's like yesterday.
I know. Thank goodness for Facebook because we can at least see each other's posts once in a while. Let me tell you all just a little bit about Marilyn. But before we do, for anybody who's new here, we're broadcasting live, but we don't see your comments because we're on Zoom. But when we get all finished with our broadcast tonight, Marilyn and I will go back to our She's Reading Facebook page and we will see all of your comments, all of your questions, and we will answer any of those. So if you have questions along the way, just post them in there and Marilyn will answer them. Until then, let me just introduce her a little bit. Marilyn lives in Connecticut. She began her writing career at 17 magazine. Now, raise your hands, girls. Speaking, if you read 17 magazine, it was one of my favorites. I grew up in a tiny little farm community and we used to go to town after baling hay and I would run to the store and beg my daddy to buy me 17 magazine. So I was kind of tickled to read that. She met her husband in an elevator. She owned her own advertising agency for 25 plus years. And she has some of the reader favorite books out there. I can't wait for Marilyn's books to come out because they make me laugh. In fact, her newest one is called Crazy to Leave You. And sadly, I haven't read it yet, but I ordered it and it's on its way. So Amazon, get here quick. It's the story of Lauren Leo. And it said that the worst day of her life may be the best thing that ever happened to her. She also wrote Lift and Separate about Marcy Hammer and her husband, the head of a global brassiere company, who left her for a 33 double D lingerie model. And then he goes missing. Her first novel was Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, and I'll let her tell you about that one. Her reviewers say she's witty, humorous, heartwarming, and heartbreakingly tender. She has a true gift of humor, said another reader. Another one says, prepare to laugh a little and to cry a lot. Another says, laugh out loud, hilarious, full of charm. And another one compared her to Nora Ephron's Heartburn, which happens to be my favorite movie of all time with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. So anyway, welcome again, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell our She's Reading members just a little bit more about you and about your writing journey and how you began?
Okay, so I never saw hay in my life because I'm a city girl. And I grew up in Queens, New York, in a town called, get ready, Flushing. Okay, it's not as bad as it sounds. It was just an area with brick home, brick home, brick home, brick home, and you could pass butter through a window.
Oh.
And I went to public schools, and when I was ready to go to college, my parents said I couldn't leave Queens, which was not happening because I had to get out of there. So I thought, I'll just apply somewhere that's not in Queens, and then I won't have any Queens applications. And well, what are they going to do then? So I applied to NYU, early decision, which my daughter now so nicely says to me, anybody could get in back then. And thank you, Sharon. And I basically wanted to go there because the admissions booklet was purple And that's how you pick colleges back then. There wasn't a lot of going around to, try it on. We didn't do anything like that. The admissions booklet was purple. It wasn't in Queens. Done.
Done.
I get there and I find out everybody but me is pre-med.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So I pretty much started the English department. And when I graduated, I got a job in a literary agency for like a half an hour.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I was 20 years old and it was a one-woman agency. And I sat there all day while the agent went to lunch. And so I thought, this is not really going to work for me because, you're a kid. You don't want to be alone.
Okay.
But I thought if I quit, I'm a quitter.
Mm.
So what I decided, I was still living at home, was I would go home and ask my father whether I could quit. And when he didn't scream at me, I knew I could quit. So I quit and I looked for another job. And believe it or not, if anybody can remember classified ads, I literally found a classified ad to be an office assistant in the copy department of 17 magazine.
Very cool.
And I thought to myself, no, they have to put it in the paper. There are women dying all over this country for this job. I went there. I got the job. I worked up to staff writer. I wrote Dear Beauty Editor. So take a look, because this is what Dear Beauty Editor looks like. And also ask me anything you want to know about a pimple. Go ahead, ask. And from there, I decided that this was fun, but I needed to eat. So I went into advertising.
Oh. And that's when you had your own agency.
And that's when I had my own agency. We moved up to Connecticut and I worked for an agency for a little while. And then I opened up my own place. And then I thought, after 25 years, I thought to myself, let me think, how can I make less money? And guess what I came up with? Write a novel.
It seems like that sometimes.
So here I am.
So here you are.
Here I am.
Well, that is a fun story. Tell us a little bit about that very first novel, Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, because that's the one I read, and it was delightful. Your sense of humor just shines in that story.
Well, Husbands and
Other idea.
Go ahead.
Tell us about it.
Kelly, I think you are frozen.
Oh, did I?
Like the movie.
Uh-oh. I'm still talking.
You froze for a minute. You
okay.
like the movie.
We might be having just a little technical difficulty. I said, no.
But Husbands and Other Sharp Objects is about a woman named Marcy Hammer, whose husband has left her, and she needs to get over it and find a new way. And all my books are about women who discover their strength in adversity. Okay, who don't think they're going to wind up in that kind of situation. Like, she didn't think her husband was going to leave her after 33 years, 3 grown children. She gave up her career to help him with his business, and poof, he's gone. And now her problem is, as she is plotting her divorce from him, she is also planning her daughter's wedding to his lawyer. So if anyone who's ever planned a wedding knows that alone is a story. Mm-hmm. But this becomes so convoluted.
Oh my gosh. It's a movie waiting to happen.
Steven Spielberg, are you out there?
No kidding. But it does. It reads like a movie.
One of my favorite scenes is her daughter doesn't want to have a religious wedding. She wants to be married by her shrink. So as they're standing there about to be married, and of course she's the mother of the bride, Marcy, so she's standing, right where it's all taking place. The shrink is about to marry the daughter when he turns to Marcy and he says, "I've heard so much about you."
Oh no. Just what you want to hear from the shrink.
As your daughter's getting married, as if they don't blame the mother for everything. You need to know that. Yes.
What nice timing.
Yeah.
How do you come up with all these characters? Because your characters are so fun to read. I mean, they're poignant and they're going through struggles, but they always, like you said, they come through with this redemptive thread, but they also come through with a sense of humor and funny. How do you create them? Is there a process you have? Because I want to know it.
I am totally lacking in process. I mean, if I had to make an outline, there would be no book. I just sit and write. And the conversation comes to me first because I think in the humor. So I start with a character who's got a problem, and a problem that I know I can enjoy. Okay, that I know I can just, I'm going to have a good time writing about it.
Sure.
And it's usually a problem that, it's a desperate problem. It's bad. I mean, in Crazy to Leave You, she's 41 years old and she's left at the altar by text. And the text doesn't even go to her, it goes to her sister. So her sister has to come in and tell her she's been dumped while she's standing there in her wedding gown that she has dieted down to a size 12, which is the smallest she's ever been, and is thinking, maybe I should just wear the tag down the aisle, instead of the dress. And in walks her sister, throws the bridesmaids out, and tells her that, guess what? It's not happening. And at 41, this was her dream. She was already very successful at work, had many friends, had her own place to live, had a wonderful family, everything going for her. She wanted to get married. She ran into a guy who she used to make out with in camp when she was 13. She runs into him at a reunion. And in 2 years, they become engaged, which all isn't in the story because the story starts at being left at the altar. And he's just a child. He doesn't have anyone else. He just is a child. He is not ready to get married. And she's left to figure out her life but it's always with the help of family and friends.
Yes. That's the other thing. Your relationships are so entwined, and no one, journeys this life alone. And you do have these wonderful support characters that come alongside. Sometimes, they rub wrong a little bit, but they always come through. And isn't that life? And I think about that when I read your book. I laughed, but it was true what this person said when they said, it's witty, humorous, and heartbreakingly tender. And that is true, because you not only laugh, but you really can relate to these people. These people experience what we've experienced. And isn't that why we love to read? So
Yes.
All of you out there who have not, and one of the things that warmed my heart is when I announced that I was having you on here. I don't know if you saw the comments, but there were lots of people, and I saw some Pulpwood Queen people who said, "Oh, good, Marilyn's coming. Oh, I've read her book. I want her new one." You have fans, girl. And your books are so wonderful. So those of you who have not tried Miss Marilyn's books yet, tell them where they can find you. www.
You can find me at guess what? MarilynSimonRothstein.com. And I have to say that my website is really fun, and it was designed by my daughter. I wrote it, and then she designed it.
How sweet.
And so I feel like it's like my books. It has humor, but there's a lot of heart in it because my kid did it. My kid who's 35.
Yeah.
The only problem with having your daughter design your website is when you need a change, you have to beg.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's not being paid to do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll tell you
that's
this.
where you can find me. And then
on her website, I went to her website, which is wonderful. And there were places where you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, I believe. She's on Goodreads. You can sign up for her newsletter. So go buy her books, but then make sure that you follow Marilyn so that you get all her future releases. I have a few more questions for you. This is one of my favorite. What character do your readers love to hate? Of all your books, which one?
Oh, I think the husband in Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, Harvey the Bra King. He is really detestable, but it's so much fun to read about him because the things I made detestable about him are just funny. Like his habits and the way he reacts to things are just like out of the box.
Yeah.
Like It's just unbelievable. In Husbands and Other Sharp Objects, after he's like completely done her life in, he gets sick and he thinks she should stay and take care of him. Okay. So, he does things that are just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And so he is without a doubt the most
The
detestable.
most detestable.
I detest him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, which of your characters is most like you?
Oh, there's some of me in all the characters. I
Mhm.
can't say there's one character that people handle things the way I would handle them. I mean, I am someone who like operates from strength no matter what the situation. So in that case, yes, and I certainly feel like I've taught my two daughters to do that. But there's a little of me in every character.
Well, and I think that's why I love your book so, because who wants to read about wimpy females who won't stand up for themselves, who won't take their lives into their own hands? And, all of us get dealt situations we don't see coming. And
Yes.
sometimes they put us on the floor for a little while, but that's the key. It's a little while. Your characters stand back up. Your characters come back.
That's it. They do get on the floor because realistically, I mean, who gets punched in the nose and just stands there and smiles, with the relationships that are the relationships of a lifetime.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason I named Husbands and Other Sharp Objects that name is because I honestly feel that it's the people who are closest to us who cause us the most pain. I mean, a stranger really can cause you the kind of heartache that your husband of 33 years or your children can cause you a lot of heartache. And in all my books, there are a lot of lovable heartache causing children.
Yes.
When I wrote my first book, one of the editors said to me, "You've got to make the kids nicer." And I thought, really? This is my kids talk like this all the time. I don't know where you're from,
Yeah.
but I did. So I made the kids nicer. And what I thought after I made the kids nicer was, wouldn't it be nice if, your kid walked through the door and was being obnoxious and you just go, be nicer. And it worked. So,
Well, thank you, editor.
I just enjoy that. What?
Okay, I'm browsing through my questions because I knew there were a few things I wanted to ask you. What about being an author gives you the deepest joy?
Writing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We try to tell our readers what it's like to get that cup of coffee in the morning, sit down, you're in your, pajamas, you haven't even gotten ready yet, and you just grab your computer and away you go. And if you love to read, writing is that times 200, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the writing is the best part. Mm-hmm. The best part. I mean, and I've wanted to write since in the womb, so this is the dream come true.
Yeah. And you can tell when an author is gifted, an author has taken time to be.
I think we froze.
Trained. Oh, now you froze. When an author
there we go. We're back. We're back.
When an author takes time to train and embraces that gift that they have, it's such a treat. I have my list of favorite authors, and typically when you talk to them, this is their passion. I mean, and it comes through, and it comes through in your books. So while you may be an ad agent and such very successful, you made a good move moving on.
Oh, I think I did. I enjoy writing. I've always enjoyed writing more than I started out as a copywriter. Mm-hmm. And then I expanded to do all the other things that are involved in putting an agency together. And I always wanted to just go back to writing.
Yeah. So what book would you gift to every one of your readers other than your own, if given the opportunity? I know.
I can't come up with there's too many books I like, but I have to say that in this journey of becoming an author, I have met, like you, so many wonderful women authors who do so much for each other. I mean, it blows my mind. Half the time, I'm just like, I can't even believe.
I know.
Um,
Yeah,
like
this
you,
community is
you
so
heard I had
generous.
a, you heard I had a new book. You call me up and invite me. I mean, it's just fantastic. So I would have to say, I would spread the joy.
Yeah,
I would give everybody a book by one of my new women author friends.
yeah.
That's what I would do.
It is. It's, you know, it's hard to describe, but this is an industry where, you know, men and women alike, but we lift each other up, and we don't, there's not that level of competition because we know we can't possibly write enough books to keep, you know, our readers happy.
Mhm.
Those kind of readers read so many books per week. We could never do it. And so it's so fun to be able to, you know, talk about our favorite books. And I'm most fascinated. Have you watched TikTok lately? And the whole thing, that craze on book talk?
You know, I looked at TikTok once a while ago, about a year ago, but I haven't seen it since then, but I know it's totally where everybody is going now.
Yeah. I sadly stay off of there because it really sucks me in. But I bought a stack of books like this because I saw things on there. And when, you know, when an author or even a reader says, oh, I love this book, you've got to read it, it really does, you know, get in the heart of things. So what do you say is your favorite to write? The first chapter or the last chapter?
The first chapter.
Yeah, me too.
I love the first chapter because the first chapter sets up my character. I can go anywhere. I can have her talk. I love writing the talk the most, which is where the most of my humor comes from.
Yeah.
But so the first chapter is my favorite because I jump into that character and I start her talking, and she's always talking to someone very close to her so that she can be really honest. Mm-hmm. And that's what gets me going. That starts me on my journey.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part to write is the last page.
Oh my gosh, yes. And they say that your last page sells your next book, and it's true. There's so many times I'll close a book and go, oh, and immediately go and order the next one. So what, do you have another one in the works? Is there another book coming on the horizon someday?
Yes, I'm working on a book, and I'm not sure what it is yet, but yeah. I'm on my way in. I'm on my way in. I have my main character.
Good.
And I've got her family and I've got her friends. Now I'm deciding what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. You write much like me. I'm a pure pantser. And for those of you who've been here before, you know the difference between the pantser and the plotter. Plotters, you know, figure out their story before they write, and we kind of go back behind us and figure out our story behind us.
That's exactly how I am.
I like to call it a discovery writer. I discover.
Oh, that's so much better because I'm outgrowing those pants from the pantser. You know, I mean,
true. That's true.
And discovery sounds like you're so smart.
Yeah, it does. Okay, we're at that part of the interview where I'm going to throw the rocket fire questions at you. And these are questions that just come at you and you just say this or this.
Okay.
It's meant for our readers to get to know you a little better. So, Miss Marilyn,
yes.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Stilettos or flip-flops?
Neither, because I need shoes that are enclosed and flat. Let's say stilettos, flip-flops, or orthopedic black shoes.
Or slippers. Okay, dawn or sunset?
Sunset.
Oh, swimming or walking?
Oh, that's a tie because those are my two activities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you know, I'd have to I think I'd say swimming because of the water. It's harder to do.
Yeah. Well, then beach or mountains?
Another tie. I love the beach. I love the mountains.
Yeah, me too. Cook or takeout?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Let me just dial up my dinner here while you're sitting. My husband came in, my sharp object came in because I was having trouble with the getting connected to you. And the last words I said to him when he walked out back to his office was, "We're going to dinner after this." So there's your answer.
Well, that's pretty close to my household, except my husband cooks. He runs a large meat company in Texas, and so he likes to grill steak, which is fine with me. Campground or resort?
Now resort, 20 years ago campground.
Okay. And the last one, flowers or massage?
Oh, what do you do with flowers? They die. Massage lives on.
That's right. That's right.
And you
that's actually how I reward myself. If I get my word count in, there's a little massage place down the road, and I'm hopping over there. So
I have a lot to say about facials too. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're sisters on that one. Okay, so we're at the end here. I told Marilyn that one of the things that we do here at She's Reading is we have the guest authors gift something. And so it's her choice, whether it's a book or something else she's chosen. And so why don't you tell them what the giveaway is? Oh, a copy of
The giveaway is a signed paperback copy of this very book, Crazy to Leave You.
Oh, girls. You know, I have a lot of readers who love to have print books, and so you're going to be really popular tonight. So the way you're going to be entered into that opportunity to win that book copy is you comment. So if you put any comment at all tonight, even "Hi, Marilyn, I'm here. Nice to see you, girls." Any comment will get you entered. And you'll only have one entry, so you don't need to comment a lot to try to, get more chances. Just one chance if you commented at all. And I really hope and pray that you guys will take a minute and go check out Marilyn on her website. Check her out on Amazon, Goodreads. And if you have not read her books, take it from me, you are missing out. All right. Good night, my friend. And thank you for being with us. We'll all be on the comments, and we'll be answering all your questions when we get off of here.
Well, listen, Kelly, thank you so much for inviting me, and I look forward to seeing you in real life.
Yes.
And thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night.